Russia military violate NATO airspace.
At least 12 full minutes. The sleek fighter jets rode over the Gulf of Finland, pushing boundaries and also testing NATO's resolve. The Thailand's foreign ministry moved pretty swiftly, summoning Russia's chargé d'affaires to deliver a stern protest. And according to the Estonian military, the Russian fighter jets entered into the Estonian airspace in the area of Vainluu Island, which is a small island located in the Gulf of Finland in the Baltic Sea. Now, the military said in a statement that the aircraft did not have flight plans and their transponders were turned off, nor were the aircraft in a two-way radio communication with the Estonian air traffic services. And this is the latest flashpoint in the weeks marred by repeated Russian provocations. Now, the incursion comes on the heels of earlier Russian drone violations in Polish and Romanian airspace, incidents Russia denies targeting these countries. Now, Russia said that its forces had been attacking Ukraine at the time of the drone incursion and that it had not intended to hit targets in Poland or Romania. Now, the United States and Western intelligence officials have been unable to determine whether the incursion was accidental or an intentional effort by Russia to probe the Western air defenses and to gauge NATO's response. Now, Ukraine and Poland have both publicly said that they are convinced that this incursion was deliberate, and this assessment is being shared by multiple European nations. The American President Donald Trump last week had told the reporters that it could have been a mistake, earning him a public rebuke from the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, who said, "We know the incursion was not a mistake." Now, Poland has dismissed this argument and has said that the drones were sent into Polish airspace intentionally to test the capabilities of Poland and the NATO military alliance to respond. NATO has also condemned these violations, pledging to reinforce air defenses along the eastern flank. And amidst the continuous drone incursions, NATO has launched Operation Eastern Sentry. The operation aims to strengthen defense along its eastern border and cover NATO's eastern flank from the Baltics to Bulgaria. NATO is also deploying fighter jets from Denmark, France, Germany and other allies to Poland and surrounding countries. And the alliance is integrating its air and ground assets to intercept drones and to respond rapidly to the threats. Full 12 minutes in the airspace of another nation. Can this be a mistake? What's happening here?
Well, if this is correct, then I doubt that it would be a mistake that three jets entered the airspace for that amount of time. But again, we need some confirmation on this, but I'm assuming that it's likely true. And well, in my opinion, I think, yeah, that Russia and NATO are possibly heading towards war as mutual provocations keep growing. Just to put it in a context, NATO and Russia has been fighting a proxy war in Ukraine for over a decade. And as the war now seems to be moving towards an end in terms of NATO losing the war and no serious peace negotiations taking place, I think it's very reasonable to expect escalation. And I think both sides are looking towards this. So we're entering a very dangerous period of the war.
It started off with Poland and then Romania and now Estonia, which is clearly a NATO nation. Is this an attempt by the Russians to test whether Article 5 of the NATO military alliance can in fact even be triggered if it carries out incidents such as this? Is NATO being put to test here?
It could be. I mean, if, for example, Germany begins to send Taurus missiles now, it's very likely that Russia will strike directly at Germany. It's worth noting that how deep or far we have gone into this war now. That is, we have NATO threatening to seize Russian commercial ships in the Baltic Sea. We had General Donahue, the U.S. Army commander for Europe. He, on behalf of NATO, threatened to invade Russia's Kaliningrad region with more than 1 million people on the Baltic coast. We see NATO countries providing the weapons, war planning, logistics, intelligence, the targeting, and even operating missiles which are launched deep into Russia, thus being participants in the deaths of tens of thousands of Russians. So we have gone very far down the proxy war, and the line towards the direct war is very thin indeed. The Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov argued only a few days ago that NATO was de facto already at war with Russia. So again, my point is, I think we're moving into very dangerous territory, and whether this was an accident on the side of the Russians or if they are preparing themselves for a very uncertain future, it's not clear. They could be signaling that they are ready for war if